Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a revolutionary concept that's poised to completely change how we develop new medicines. We're going to look at how technology is taking the long, expensive, and often uncertain process of medical research and turning it into something faster, safer, and way more precise.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. What if we had a crystal ball for clinical trials? It really does sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but we're exploring a technology today that promises to do exactly that. And it does it by tackling a huge dilemma right at the heart of modern medicine. So, to really get why the solution we're about to talk about is such a big deal, we have to understand the problem it's designed to solve. And that problem is baked into the very foundation of how we test new drugs, the so-called gold standard, the randomized controlled trial, or RCT. Let's talk about the cost of just standing still. Industry analyses figure that a single month's delay in a clinical trial can cost a company $500,000. That's in expenses and lost revenue. Now, when you remember that these trials can drag on for years, you can see how those numbers just become astronomical.
You see, these issues create this cascade of problems. The trials are incredibly slow and expensive. Get this, a staggering 80% of them face delays just trying to find enough people to participate. They often lack diversity, meaning the results might not even apply to the very people who need the drug most. And that leads to a huge disconnect with the real world and ultimately a shockingly low success rate. Only 1 in 10 drugs that starts this whole process ever gets approved. The system isn't just inefficient, you could argue it's broken.
So how do you fix a system that's so fundamentally broken? Well, the answer might just lie in a completely new way of thinking, the medical digital twin. And this isn't just a small tweak, it's a total shift in how we approach medical research.
The best way to picture it is like a hyper-realistic flight simulator, but for a person. It's a living, breathing virtual copy of an individual built from all their unique health data. This lets doctors and researchers test treatments, predict what might happen, and run countless what-if scenarios, all in a totally risk-free virtual space.
So, how do you actually build one of these? Well, first, you collect a massive amount of data on a patient, everything you can get your hands on. Then, AI models crunch all that data to create virtual patient profiles, or even entire virtual populations. And finally, you use that virtual patient, that twin, to simulate how they might respond to a new drug, which helps you fine-tune the real-world trial before it even starts.
Now let's get into how this tech could transform the entire research process. This is really where the strategic value for creating new medicines comes sharply into focus. I mean, when you put the two methods side by side, the difference is just night and day. On one side, you've got traditional trials, slow, outrageously expensive, and often not very diverse. On the other, trials enhanced with digital twins promise to be faster, cheaper, more inclusive, and, this is a big one, fundamentally safer because you can predict risks ahead of time. The value here becomes crystal clear when you break down the benefits. The single biggest impact is on patient safety, letting researchers see potential bad reactions before they ever happen in a real person. But right behind that are speed and cost reduction, two things that can absolutely make or break a drug's path to the market. And beyond all that efficiency, this tech opens the door to truly personalized medicine. And this quote just brilliantly highlights a huge ethical dimension. By letting researchers simulate how a drug works in a virtual human, this technology offers a real path to significantly reduce our reliance on animal testing, especially in those early stages of research. Okay, this all sounds incredible, right? Almost too good to be true. And you know, with any technology this revolutionary, that immense promise is always balanced by some pretty significant challenges that we have to tackle head-on. Before digital twins become a common tool in every lab, the medical world has to navigate some major hurdles. And these aren't small speed bumps, they're fundamental questions about fairness, security, and even trust itself. And these challenges are really significant. For instance, if the data used to build a twin is biased, well, its predictions will be biased too. We also need brand new rules for these AI models, and we need data security that's basically Fort Knox, not to mention closing the digital divide. And critically, we have to solve what's called the black box problem. Doctors need to understand why an AI is making a recommendation before they can ever trust it with a patient's life.
Let's just zoom in on one of those for a second. Data security. For every risk you can think of, from hackers to data tampering, people are already developing solutions. We're talking about advanced encryption, constant security monitoring, and even using technology like blockchain to create a tamper-proof digital log of who touched what data and when. The idea is to build a system where security is baked in from the very beginning.
So, even with these very real challenges, the road ahead for digital twin technology is incredibly exciting. It truly represents a fundamental change in how we think about medical innovation.
And this, right here, is the key takeaway. The goal isn't to replace doctors or get rid of clinical trials altogether. It's about giving them a powerful co-pilot, a predictive tool that helps them refine their work, make smarter choices, and speed up the journey from a brilliant idea to a life-saving cure.
And this brings all this high-level tech right back down to a personal level. Imagine just for a moment that you had a perfect simulation of your own body. What questions would you ask it to improve your health or head off an illness down the road? It's a powerful thought, and it gives us a glimpse of the truly personalized future of medicine that this technology could one day unlock for every single one of us.